Pleasure to welcome back the winningest quarterback in BYU history. His 32 wins. That's more than Scheide, Nielsen, Wilson, McMahon, Young, Bosco, Fowler, Detmer, Walsh, Beck, Sarkeesian, Nelson, Hill, Wilson, and Hall. That's quite a list. And
don't you
he
love
asks
how
us
he
to
throws me
read
in there,
every
Max?
single name before he comes on.
He throws me in there every time. I like that.
It's a pleasure to welcome Max Hall back to the Wise Guys live in Arizona. Max, how was that intro? Was that better than the last one?
That was maybe one of the best intros of all time. Just keep naming all those great BYU quarterbacks and put me at the top. I'm good with that.
You got that. Yeah. Hey, how's the high school team doing? What's going on with are the playoffs coming up?
Yeah, we're doing really good. I actually just left practice to come be with you guys, but we are 7-1 right now. We got 2 more regular season games. Things are looking good. We're number 3 in our region and number 12 in the state, I think, right now. So seems like our team is kind of meshing at the right point. The offense is we're rolling. We're doing really well. So I think we got a good shot, man, to make a run in the playoffs.
Now your quarterback popped on with us last time before the season began. How's he doing?
The last 3-4 games, he's been on fire, like on fire. In the last game that we played in at halftime, he was 15 for 16 for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Against a very good opponent in Higley High School. So it's fun, man. He's getting better every week, and the team seems to just be hitting at the right time. So.
And you guys are playing against teams. We talked about this last time, but for those that didn't hear, you guys have had to move up. It's almost like the relegation and move up thing in soccer over in Europe. Even though you're not near the size of some of these other schools, you're playing up a couple of levels because you've been too good, right?
Yeah, so in Arizona, how it works is they put you in the conference based on your last 3 seasons. So if your last 3 seasons, if you're going deep in the playoffs, they're going to move you up a division. So in 4 years, we went from Division 3 to Division 5, and that's really fast to move up 2 divisions.
Yeah.
But it's a credit to our coaching staff, to our players, to our program of growing and getting better. So yeah, we have about 1,100 kids in our high school, and we're playing other high schools that have 4,000 or 5,000 kids in their school. So we're at a little bit of a disadvantage, but we just scheme them up, Blaine. You know,
that's all you got to do.
Got to scheme them up.
Max is the offensive coordinator, and the head coach is Ty Detmer, which I just think is phenomenal. What kid wouldn't want to be on that team? I'd transfer just to have a shot at being the water boy of that team with these 2 guys.
I come play quarterback for that team. So
hey, your team, the Cougs, are 4-5 now. What's going on? What do you see as the problem?
I knew you guys were going to ask me that. Here's my thing. I haven't, I'm not watching every play of the game and rewinding it and really trying to understand what's going on. So from kind of an outside guy looking in, I don't know what's going on in the meeting rooms. I don't know, what's going on behind the scenes. But, 2 games ago, it just seems like our defense couldn't get off the field. You're looking at 10, 11, 12 play drives every time they got the ball. So the offense is standing there for 20 minutes not doing anything. And I think that disrupts the flow of the offense. And it was bad. I only got to see the first half of the last game. And it just seemed to me like there's just no, I don't know what the right word is. There's no momentum in the offense. There's no flow in it. There's no rhythm. There's no
confidence.
You know what I'm saying? It just feels like we're pounding our heads against the wall trying to get first downs. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's scheme or if it's reads or if it's receivers not creating separation. I don't know what it is. But I think we have a great coaching staff who needs to just understand, how do we just get the ball to our playmakers? How can we be creative and get the ball to our playmakers, maybe throw some more screens, some quick stuff, some quick games, some RPOs, do something because look at the guys we have.
Yeah.
Look at the guys we have. I love the receiving core that I had when I played, but this is a great receiving core. We got a great offensive line. So I think we just maybe need to be a little bit more creative. But again, guys, I want to preface that with, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes and in the meeting room. So that's just what I see.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were just talking about it, Max, earlier in the show, Dave and I, as we kind of got in, and I just said, defense has struggled at times, but 2 of the last 3 games, the reason we got in this conversation is because we were looking at the college football playoff rankings that just came out tonight, and every one of the top 10 teams just goes out and scores 45 a night. And nobody notices that Tennessee gives up 30-something again because they don't care because they score 50. TCU's number 8 in that ranking, and TCU doesn't stop anybody, but they score every time they have the ball. I said, college football has changed so much where outside of Georgia, nobody in that top 10 plays lights out. I mean, Ohio State doesn't play lights out defense anymore. Teams just outscore people. And 2 of the last 3 games, BYU's defense, I'd like to see them get a couple more stops a game. But in last week's game, they turned back and forced a 3-and-out after a long punt return. They got a short field and forced a field goal that was missed. They had several 3-and-outs in that game. BYU's offense scored on the first drive out of the locker room and never scored the rest of the second half. They went punt, turnover and downs, punt, turnover and downs, punt, and they did the same thing in the Liberty game. I'm like, oh man. Yes, the defense has a lot to do. They've got to get better, and they got to be able to defend the run better. But on the other side, people haven't talked much about the offense. I'm with you. They've got to get some type of rhythm, because in college football today, you got to score in the 30s or you can't win. And they just, they lose a game. You lose games 28-20, and you don't win. In the old days, we used to say if you could hold a team to 24, you could win. You only had to score more than 24. I don't think that's true anymore. I think you got to score in the 30s to win. Am I crazy? And am I looking things wrong, Max?
I don't think you're crazy. And that 24-point thing is funny, because we had the same thing with Bronco. He was like, if we can score 24 points or more with no turnovers, it's like a crazy percent that you're going to win the game.
Right.
But the face of football has changed. I didn't run any RPOs. We weren't running a ton of spread stuff, The offensive, they've gotten faster, they've gotten quicker, they've gotten more aggressive. And so you got all these things going on. And if you have a good coordinator, it's tough for a defense to stop you, right? Like you gotta mix it up and be creative. I kind of have this, as a coordinator in high school, I kind of have this saying of being creative yet simple. Let's be creative. Let's do different things with motions and shifts and formations, but let's make it simple for our quarterback and get the ball to our playmakers. And I found that when you do that, things tend to roll. Now the receivers are more into the game. You know what I'm saying? You get more people involved, more people are excited to be playing. But going back from that, because I don't like to, I guess as a coach now, it's not about offense, it's not about defense. What are we doing as a team? And I feel like right now the team is just we're not together. We're not meshed. There's not the same passion and excitement that you saw in the first couple games of the season, right? Yeah. It's just the feel is off, in my opinion. And I don't know what that is, but I think Kalani needs to do something and I think he is doing it, to change the culture, to pay more attention to detail, to start doing the little things right, because those things add up. And so that's what I see.
If you're the coordinator on Saturday night and Max or Jaron's gone into this hostile environment, little rain in the forecast at Boise State, they want blood because BYU put 51 on them last time they were up there. We were just
talking to the alumni guy up there. He goes, Boise hates BYU.
Yeah. So you got your quarterback there who's struggled to put some games together, and then at moments he shows some brilliance. What few plays do you start with to get Jaron Hall in a groove that might set his tone for the night?
See, I like that. I'm a big guy. Even when I played, I wasn't a big, hey, let's take a shot first play or do something like that. I needed to get into rhythm. I needed to complete some screens. I needed to maybe take off and run and take a hit, or maybe get the back in the flat. You know what I mean? Just something simple concepts. Maybe a play action rollout naked or something like that, where I can dump it down to the tight end. Something to get me going, to get me completions, and give me some confidence as we go throughout the rest of the game, right? Yeah. And so I would hope they would come out and be like, hey, how are we going to get the ball to our playmakers? What easy screens or drag screens, or how can we get the ball to the tight end over the middle? How can we use play action but get the ball out of Jaron's hand quicker? Because I feel like on our play action, he's sitting there, hitching, and then he takes off running or something. Like, mix it up. And again, creative yet simple. And I think that'll kind of get Jaron back in rhythm and going and get his confidence back up.
It's interesting, Max, that like the philosophy, you and I both hate to go, hey, back when I played, but guess what? When we both played, we had prolific offenses, top 5 in the country type offenses. And we always used to say, the one way we're going to be able to run the football in this game is if early in the game we make that D-line and those linebackers run from sideline to sideline. So let's throw a swing, let's get it out and out, speed out. Let's throw a screen over to this side. Let's make that D-line, instead of pass rushing or defending the run, Let's make them run to the left sideline, and the next play they run to the right sideline. Backers are going back and forth and back and forth. And even if these are only 4-yard plays, that defense is running all over the place. Now you do that for a couple of drives, and now you run the ball. You're into the second group, or they're gassed, especially at elevation. And now you got an opportunity to maybe run the football, or you got guys that are running all over the place, and now you play action and you get a ball over the top. I love the idea of making that defense defend the entire field sideline to sideline for a couple of drives and get them gassed a little bit. What about that?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And you always want to do that early on because, defenses are excited. The D line's all pumped up. They're going to be coming after you. So, yeah, let's get them running. Let's tire them out. And I love what you said, too, because I think our offensive line is good enough that if we do what you just said, Blaine, if we make it simple for Jaron, if we get the ball out, maybe a jet sweep early. I love that. They love that jet sweep thing. So get them running to side, and we have a good enough offensive line that we should be able to run the ball consistently, right? But we can't be predictive when we're going to run the ball and what formation we're going to run the ball out of. How can we motion or move guys to different formations so we can get the look that we want, right? So again, I don't know what's going on, but just from what I can see, we can do a few more things. And I like what you said, get the defense running early, because I think we have the line to be able to smash the ball in the second half.
Max Hall, BYU's winningest quarterback in school history, on the Wise Guys tonight, live from Arizona. We had Andrew George on a couple of weeks ago and Dennis Pitta before that. Both those guys say there's no one who likes to lose, and no one hates losing more than Max Hall.
I love that he said nobody likes to lose. Like, that's just a given. Nobody wants to lose, but nobody hates it more.
Nobody hates it more than you. So you won 32 games here. Never lost 3 or 4 in a row, but you guys faced some challenges along the way. What did you do to get through those as a team?
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember if it was my junior or senior year. We had just lost to TCU, and it was a big loss. Like, it hurt us. Like, it kind of knocked us out. I think we were getting close to the top 10. It kind of knocked us off, and I was getting some publicity with the Heisman stuff, and because we were playing really well, we lose, all of that goes away, right? And I can see the team, the demeanor change. And so for me, I had to figure out something. How do I get us back on track? And for me, it was raising the intensity in practice, raising the competitiveness, and getting it to where guys are competing in practice, to where practices are almost harder than the games. I think that was the attitude that we took on from Bronco of, hey, we need to get after it more. We need, like I said before, we need to pay attention to detail. We need to be on time. We need to do all the little things right, and kind of take it personal and have a chip on our shoulder going into the next game. I don't see that energy and passion from our team right now. I see we lost. Okay, we go to the next game. A couple things go wrong and everybody hangs their head. That's what I see. Now, I'm not trying to bash the coaching staff or the players or anybody, but having been a player and now a coach myself, the momentum and attitude of the team, I think, means a lot on both sides of the ball. And right now, I think there's finger pointing going on and some controversy that I think is ruining the culture of the team.
It's interesting. Like, you started that answer, Max, by saying, yeah, I decided that we needed to be more competitive and bring an edge to practice, which I appreciate, because we've all of us that have played recognize that when things aren't going so well, it takes leaders inside the team. The coach can tell you to do something all he wants, but until some of the guys that are producing on the field say, guys, this is what we're going to do and this is what we have to do, and take that leadership mantle on their shoulders. And if it's going to get intense in practice, it's because the guys are going to do it. So how much of that is on the players, and how much can a coach really impact that?
Well, I'm going to read you a quote by Mike Krzyzewski right now. Okay. One of my favorite quotes. He says, the single most important ingredient after you get the talent is internal leadership. It's not the coaches as much as one single person or people on the team who set higher standards for that team than they normally would itself. Okay. One of the greatest coaches of all time said that. It takes internal leadership and commitment and buy-in for a team to be successful, not the coaching staff. The coaching staff can scheme and do everything you want, but until the players are invested in what they're doing and believe in each other, scheme doesn't matter. You can throw all that out the window because you're not going to get the most out of your players.
Steve Cleveland said last week when he's on it, players win games. That's what he learned as a head coach. Players win games. That's the thing I learned,
because we asked him, because remember when Steve took over BYU's basketball program, Max, they had won one game. We're like, how do you change the culture? And he talked about some things that he did, personal relationships, give guys confidence and all that. But he says in the end, players win games, not coaches.
Or fans, or
like
media.
He's like, players do it. And he says,
hey, saying of, hey, you're a coach is only as good as his players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And once he got some players that were dogs that would go out, and then they started to win a bunch of games, right?
So
if you didn't have a good quarterback, Ty would call you in the office and go, hey, why aren't we 7-1? You go, we are 7-1 because I got a good quarterback. He makes both of you guys look good down there. That's what a player does.
He does. Drew's doing a great job, man.
Hey, what do you think? A couple more questions for you. What do you think of the new media deal with the Big 12 and what impact that kind of money as BYU becomes a full partner, as much as $50 million a year from the Big 12 deal with Fox and ESPN? What do you think of that?
Well, I didn't. That's the first I've heard of the new deal. I haven't heard about it yet.
It was announced over Sunday morning.
Yeah, they're saying that when it's all said and done, BYU's each team share, based on the new extension, would come in at around 45 to 50 million. And Dave and I, we've seen some numbers where we think BYU at its best when they're maximizing everything that they do and playing in the NCAA, like
maybe 12,
maybe 10, 12 million. So this is like 5 times what they've ever had. What kind of impact could that have?
I think it's huge all around. I mean, not just like what they're getting in the program or swag, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I would love to see us use that money to recruit better, to get more fan involvement and things. And then whatever they need inside. But my biggest thing that I see is we need to spend more money we need to go recruit. And, I tell people all the time right now, ASU and U of A down here are not doing so well. A lot of Arizona players are wanting to leave state. And I don't think we recruit Arizona hard enough. Like there's some really good football down here. Yeah. And so I think recruiting, number one, and number two, whatever they need internally. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't know. What do you do with $40 million, Blaine? I mean,
I'll tell you what ends up happening is it really benefits the entire program. Like all of the sports can have better facilities and better, you know what I mean? It's just, it really does. And it's funny, kids these days, when they come on a recruiting visit, it's amazing to me how much facilities matter to them. You know, they walk in the weight room and go, well, this isn't as nice as USC's weight room. You know what I mean? Or this, and they go into stadiums and they go into locker rooms and they look at, wow, that looks like an NFL locker room, and wow, look at this stadium. So I do think one of the first things Utah did when they started to have big-time money is they redid their indoor practice facility. They redid their locker rooms. They've expanded Rice-Eccles State. Like facilities, if you can get kids on campus for some reason, like I don't know that I cared. Did you care about what the facilities looks like, Max, when you were getting recruited? I don't remember that.
I said yes before I even saw the facilities. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's different now. They want to know what uni combos that you have and what kind of facilities you have. So I think you have to invest in that. So when people come on campus, they go, yep, this is just as big time as what they just showed me at Texas. This is just as big time. This is way better than what I saw at ASU. I'm out. I'm going to BYU. So I think you're going to have to invest in some of that.
And that's kind of what I meant about recruiting and whatever they needed internally. So, if they want to update the weight room, I know they just kind of did the locker room. They could maybe redo the locker room in the stadium. There's a bunch of stuff that they could do with it, right? But not unfortunately, it is what it is in today's world, right? The players love the drip. They love the show. They love all that stuff. Even me in high school, I make fun of the kids all the time. Like, oh, okay, you got your towel on. What else? Okay, some wristbands on. Like, what's the swag look like? What's the drip like? You know, and they love it. You know, the whole look good, play good thing. So it is a different generation, and you have to appeal to that generation, or you're not going to get some of the top-notch players in the country that I don't think we're getting right now.
Max Hall is with us. Before we get to your keys to the game for Saturday night, Lemma Harrington was on the show earlier tonight, and another one of our friends, been through a lot of challenges and conquered similar demons that you've conquered. He did say that, one, say hello, and two, he'd love to work with you and come down and spend some time with your foundation and all the things that you have going on, as he's equally as involved in treatment for folks dealing with opioid struggles. But Alema is another one of the great guys who've overcome so many things, and both of you out doing a lot of good.
I love Alema. And I remember right when I was going through my thing and I got out, he was one of the guys who reached out and let me know what he was doing and what he was all about. And, I would love to hook up with him. So yes, we got to get in touch somehow, and I'd love to work with him. But
we'll put you guys together, because he was like, yes. He just said, he says, I love Max. I appreciate Max. And Alema went back to school and got his degree in that area and got certified. He's a licensed counselor. And he's doing a lot of great things, and he says it's medicine for him to be in that, along with doing all of his stuff with hosting all the jazz shows and do all that he does. He's doing this other thing on the side. He's like, I got to get together with Max. I love what he's doing. We told him we'd mention that to you, and that somehow we'd hook you guys up.
All right,
Let's
three keys to a winning Saturday. Number one,
get Jaron Hall rolling early.
Like it. Number two,
defense has got to play with more energy and passion.
Energy on defense.
Yep.
Okay.
Passion.
And number three key to getting a win out of there.
Number 3 is establishing the run game. So if we get Jaron going early, like we talked about, and then can establish the run game, then the play action comes off of that. But I think you have to start not in play action. I think you got to get the ball out quick, like we were talking about, go to the run game, and then set up some of your play action.
Great stuff.
I like it.
Hey, can we get a commitment from you tonight that after you win the Arizona Championship, you'll come back on and show us what that trophy looks like?
Yeah, we'd love that.
Absolutely.
You guys like? Hey, are you tracking? Like, is this something you guys could you win that thing this year?
Yeah. So Arizona has that open playoff where they take the top 8 teams in the state, no matter what division, and they play the open playoff. We made the open playoff last year, and we lost in the first round to the number 1 team. We got the 8 seed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of back and forth, but I'd like to go compete for a 5A state championship, and I think we got the team to go win it. So we're number 12, and the top 8 get in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 2 weeks and where we end up.
So if you end up, say you end up 11 or 10. Then they take the top 8, but then you just get to play in a championship in 5A then, right?
Correct.
So that may be the best thing that you could do at this point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we want to do. And, it'd be tough for us, and we're not quite there to where we can go beat the Chandlers and the Hamiltons and some of the really big schools in our state. They got 120 kids on their sideline. We have 50. It's just more depth and all that. So I would rather go take these kids and have the experience of playing at ASU Stadium and getting to try to go win a championship. And we got a great group of kids, and I hope it works out for us. We're gonna work our butts off, see if we can get it done.
I was gonna say it's kind of like Utah fans. I tell them to be careful. And I know Max loves Utah fans now. He tells me he loves Utah fans now. I know you do. It's crazy, but I hear Utah fans say we need to get into the college football playoff. I'm like, well, be careful what you wish for. Like, just go get in the New Year's 6 where you can
start there.
Don't go play Georgia right now and just get killed, because that doesn't do you any good, because they would get killed by Georgia. And I say be careful what you wish for. So sometimes it's okay to be in a New Year's 6 and not be in that CFP. Yeah. I think BYU would be thrilled to be in a New Year's 6.
Hey, we're proud of you, Max. Good luck with the rest of the high school season, and we hope to talk to you soon. When are you coming up next, by the way? Are you going to make it for the Utah Tech game, or are we looking next season?
I'm going to try. Trust me, if I can get up there, you two will be the first ones to know, because I want to be on the show. I want to be front and center.
We will put you front and center on game day.
If you're up, tell us if you're up, and we'll put you on game day, our countdown show.
I would love to. The hardest thing right now is my son has games every Saturday that I coach.
Yeah.
He's got his Pop Warner stuff going on. That's why it's hard for me to get up there. But
understood.
I think we have a bye coming up soon, and I'm going to try to get up there. I'll let you know.
Hey, this weekend, my Landon's team playing in the championship. This weekend, championship weekend.
It's
this
that
weekend.
Pop Warner time of year.
And it's working. I'm flying home. I land at 9:50. That game's at 11. We got to be in studio at 1. Like, it's the perfect Saturday.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's a good one.
So
Sounds like it.
We'll talk to you
tell
soon.
him good luck for me, okay?
All right, Max. Thanks, brother.
Max Hall, outstanding quarterback and offensive coordinator. Thank you, Max. And we love that he hangs out with us on the show. And yeah, we'll get him on game day. If he comes up, he's on game day. There's a few things you get. And it seems like every time we mention that he's the winningest quarterback,
yeah.
we should get like a sandwich or something like from him, like lunch with Max every time we mention. So he probably owes us like 5 lunches already.